Well, hey everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is totally different. I've done a lot of these different types of videos lately because it just is really difficult to do my normal stuff on this channel, which is fly tying or fishing with this quarantine thing. But I just haven't had the time to be able to do that kind of video. And this is much easier for me because this is the things I'm having to do on a weekly basis instead of take extra time out of this kind of stuff. So this really doesn't add a whole lot of time to me, and I don't have to do a lot of crazy editing with it, voiceovers or anything like that. Now, one thing I will say about no voiceovers is you're gonna hear my kids. So my daughter is sitting watching TV, my wife's here today, so they're hanging out, but you will hear probably some crying, some screaming. It is what it is. I've got kids. Anyone that has kids know that that's what happens, and it would become almost impossible to edit this perfectly. We are watching Frozen in the background, so you're probably going to hear a little bit of that. So sorry for all of you that have kids and hear it all the time already. I think I've memorized that whole movie. It's my daughter's favorite movie. So anyway, I'm today brewing kombucha. Well, bottling and brewing. So this will be my third batch brewing. I know I'm not an expert, by the way, but I will say this came out great. And another thing I want to tell you is I'm in an apartment, small apartment, with a big family. Well, not big. I mean, I've got 2 kids, so I guess medium-sized family. This is possible. I mean, a lot of people, I think, expect that you need like a lot of space, a lot of room to be able to do all this. You don't. Okay, so let me walk you through what you need to do kombucha. This is less a instructional video and more of just come along with me while I make some kombucha. I'm learning, okay, so you guys can learn with me. I'm no expert, okay? I just kind of got into kombucha. I've been doing sauerkraut for a while, decided to do kombucha because I drink a lot of it, as you can see here. I drink a lot of kombucha and it's expensive, but I do it for my health. It does help my health. It's something that I found really helped me. But anyway, this is what you need, okay? So you need a, here's the batch I'm gonna actually do today. I'm gonna bottle, okay? And then there's my, my secondary here, which is my SCOBY Hotel. Okay, so you need like a 1 gallon jug. You could do it smaller. So my first batch I did in a 1/2 gallon like this, the top on it like this, because these you need some release of the air because it creates CO2 and it could explode. So you need a top that keeps the bugs out because fruit flies love this stuff, and I just see them landing on here all the time and they can't get in. You need something thick enough too. Cheesecloth, they'll get right in and they'll contaminate it, okay? I want to go glass because the acidity with it will be acidic. And then you need, to be able to brew it, you need a bigger stock pot type of thing. You also need some, it's really recommended to get some sanitizer, so that's Star San. And then this really helps, is a bottling wand, okay? So that really helps. But you need some kind of container to put the sanitizer in with liquid, and then you need bottles, okay? And you could just use your old kombucha bottles, save them up, just make sure you rinse them out really well, really scrub them very well with a bottle brush, and then basically I put them in the dishwasher to kind of sanitize them, but then I'll dip them in the sanitizing liquid right before bottling, and it's good to go. Now, one thing I will say is this will create some carbonation, okay? So it's possible for those to create some bombs, kind of, in a way. It's called a bottle bomb, and it is something that happens. It's not super common, but if you have overcarbonation and maybe a damaged bottle, it could, pop. And it could hurt someone, so make sure that it's away from pets or children or any person, right? So keep it back in a closet or whatever. Let's get started. So guys, I'm hopefully you can see that. Probably you can. It's a pretty wide angle. I'm filling up. I make it warm. I don't know if it matters. I'm filling this up halfway, and then I'm gonna add my sanitizer. This is pretty simple. The Star San, you just squeeze it and it fills up this little thing. And this is a ½ gallon, and so it's a ½ ounce per 5 gallons, I think. 1 ounce per 5 gallons. So this, because it's ½ gallon, I really don't need very much at all. But I overshoot it, so there we go. Just to make sure it's all sanitized. Drop that in. Boom. This is really made for like the beer industry. Which, by the way, I have brew beer. I've tried. I'm trying right now. Still working on my first batch, so pretty excited about that. But that's what it's made for, so it's usually bigger batches. It's not 100% necessary, guys. That's like 20 bucks for that, but it'll last a long time. You can get smaller packages for less, but it does help because you could get some other kind of yeasts or bacterias in there that would throw the flavors off a little different and you know, change up what you're wanting from it. Also, you need sugar and tea, which this is it's called Scottish breakfast tea. I got it from a place called Idago Teas. It's online. It's good. Hi, Abby. But you can use Lipton. It just won't taste as good. I prefer these. So I'm gonna go ahead and sanitize everything. I'm actually gonna do it over at the sink, so hold on, guys. All right, so first things first, guys, I'm sanitizing my bottling wand. All right, so I'm dipping both ends in. Okay, and then basically it's an auto, I don't know if you're getting all that. It's an auto siphon, but the bottom, you have to touch the bottom of the thing just to make sure you're not, you know, filling up somewhere, you know, you shouldn't. So kind of makes it tough, one-handed, but putting the sanitizer liquid, you can just basically, easiest way is actually to stick this in, hit the bottom, and put this, but I want to show you guys, that's what, see if I push, it doesn't allow it to exit out, so unless I, say, touch, you know, it touches the bottom, there's like a little device in there, so just pump it through, and that basically sanitizes that. And then make sure you get all the sanitizer out, or you're going to fill your bottle with sanitizer. And yes, there's a bit of a mess that goes on with rum kombucha. It's going to happen. But luckily, it all can be cleaned up. I'm going to dip it in the sanitizer liquid right before bottling, again, just for the outside. So, let's get the bottles. So with this, so if you're doing this kind, now you can do flip top bottles, which actually, I've got 1, 2, 3, yeah, I need these are 16 ounces, so I've got a couple flip top. Like these, you could use those. So I'm going to sanitize those just in case I need them, but these, they have a little gasket in there, and you really need to kind of pop that out. You know what, the other brand, you know what, this one's sealed in there. So the other brand had one and that popped out, but that's sealed in there, so that's fine. The other one, I didn't want to have too much liquid behind it. And then basically you just stick it in, fill it up. All the way in. You can see it's full. Dump it out. Do that twice. Okay. And this is called a no rinse sanitizer, so you don't have to rinse this, so it doesn't chance. There's always like some bacteria and yeast in water, so that will, you know, even though some foam and stuff, it's not gonna affect the brew. There's not enough of it in there for it to kill all the yeast in the brew. So then I just cap it, and that's sanitized and ready to go. And I just do that with all the bottles. Yep, same brand, doesn't pop out. Now this stuff supposedly is not harmful, or very harmful or anything. I think it's just like an acidic thing that kills off the yeast and bacteria. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but you can get your hands in it. It's not like carcinogenic, I don't think. I don't know, you'd have to read the bottle a little more detail. This is what most everyone uses anyway, so it's pretty common stuff. Again, I'm no expert. You guys are coming along with me, okay? So if you guys see that I do something wrong, that you would do different, please let me know. I'm learning, okay? I'm just bringing you guys along. Kind of like a day in the life of McFly, in a way. So this is what I pretty much do on the weekends. My wife and I get most of the cleaning done stuff on the weekends, and you know, she's working a lot right now because she's a nurse, so nurses don't get time off like everyone else during this epidemic. In fact, they're working more. So it's just me with the kids, and you know, it takes a while to get things clean, so. Alright, so this is that brand. I'm gonna pop that. See? Gotta pop that out. Now make sure when you do this that you're doing it with bottles that can handle that pressure, okay? A lot of people use plastic bottles because that will expand and it's not gonna burst. If you're doing flip top, make sure that they're made for that specific thing, because it has to be a thicker glass. You can see it's a kind of thicker glass. I bought these specifically for that, and beer, and cider and stuff like that. So anything that requires carbonation could explode. Okay, so be careful and make sure that they're not. A lot of these you can buy, the cheap ones, are more for decoration or just holding, like, you know, something non-carbonated, but make sure that they're for bottling, you know, carbonated drinks. Always save the liquid till you're completely done, because you might need to sanitize something else. I want you guys to see this. I'm just gonna have to deal with the unsanitized. This looks gross, I know. This is nasty. Looks like snot. It's disgusting looking, but that's what kombucha is. Basically, it's called a SCOBY, symbiotic, culture and yeast or something, or of yeast and bacteria, or bacteria and yeast, or anyway. Yeah, technical, right? That's what it's called. And so it's just this big, you can see, that's what it looks like. It's pretty nasty. Okay? I have a brand new one here. It's rather thin. I thought it would be a little thicker. But that's my new one. And all that will just go in my, here. Okay? I'll hold up. Yeah, so Boy, that's not the SCOBY I was expecting. I thought it would be a lot thicker. That's the new one. Okay, and it's been 2 weeks. It didn't make it all that thick. I thought it would be much, much thicker. Oh well. And here we go. So that is what I'm going to bottle. And grab a spoon. Sanitize the spoon. It's good. It's really good. So, still got some sweetness in it, still some sugar. Unlike some of the store-bought that is like straight vinegar, there's a little bit of vinegar taste to it, like all kombucha. That's just what it is. But those yeasts are really healthy for you, and the bacteria is beneficial. Yeast and bacteria is all for your gut. It's really good for you, but you don't have as much of that real like sharp vinegar taste with this. It's very smooth, very mellow. And that's the nice thing about brewing from home, because you get in a quicker thing. When you buy these, when you buy all these from the store, they've sat on the shelf for a couple weeks, and then, you know, maybe even a month or more. And they will, and that's why they have the date, you know, a sell-by date and whatnot. They tend to have that more vinegar taste, because over time, that yeast and bacteria is still eating the sugars out and making it more dry, basically. So this is really nice. All right. Here goes the first one. Now this is a lot easier with someone else. Okay. But there's some stuff at the bottom that you don't necessarily want to get in. It's not like beer though, actually. This one don't really matter. Not a whole lot of stuff at the bottom. That's fine. I don't mind getting that in. So, this one has like a nice little clip that you can put right there, so it's gonna stay. Stick that in. Now, this will be a siphon, so if you put it lower, it'll autofill. You can see it's going through, hopefully. If you get it lower than where the start of that other is. Let's see if I can, there we go. Whoa. All right, so I probably overfilled that a little. I'm gonna get a glass. You really want to leave some headroom, so that way the carbonation doesn't build up too quick and burst it. That headroom will allow for a little more carbonation. Now, you could add a little more sugar if you want, but I know that there's enough sugar in there. I tasted it, and I don't want to end up with bottle bombs. So then you tighten it really tight, and it'll carbonate within a couple days. Oh, that's good, guys. So good. Yeah. Tea that I use in a little bit, but it is a high quality tea, very high. So this would be a little cheaper if you use like Lipton, but I find that it just makes much better tasting. So much better. Now, you want to leave a little bit, okay? So you want to leave some at the end, so that way your next batch, you just basically pour your next batch in there. You want to sanitize this right away. Another reason why you leave this sanitizer liquid. You want to get the inside sanitized, pump through, so that way nothing grows inside of it. Well, there we go. So it cost me maybe $4 in tea, and I use more expensive tea. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of there. You can technically get 8. I didn't quite brew enough, so I could have probably gotten 8 out of there because that's a gallon. So I think you get 8 out of a gallon. So yeah, that's pretty simple and easy, guys. It's not hard to do. It just takes a little bit of time. That was 2 weeks of it brewing. I got 7 of those bottles. Those are usually $2 each bottle. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, $14 worth of tea. Worth of kombucha that tastes way better than what store-bought is. And in fact, there's some brands that are like $3 or $4 per bottle. I get the cheapo stuff. I say cheapo, but I mean, it's good. Definitely more vinegary tasting from Central Market, which is in Texas, our store, our grocery store. It's HEB, but the Central Market brand is their brand, and that's $2 each. They generally are 3 or 4 sometimes for some brands. Like this one is $3 per bottle. So technically I got, of the higher quality, if you want to go higher quality, they're like $3 or $4 per bottle. So I technically got like maybe even up to almost $30 worth of kombucha just for this. And it's not a lot of work. As you saw, that didn't take very long. And it's way better than any of the brands that you can buy. Now you could add flavor to this, so you could put in some like fruit juice, or I know some of the brands, I want to try this at one point, but we'll put a little bit of like mint in their tea, so they'll brew some mint in the tea, which is really, really a nice flavor. But yeah, so you could really do whatever you wanted with it. But then go and store these for 2 or 3 days in a like cool, dark area. You don't want a lot of light, but semi-cool, dark area, and then throw them in your fridge. Test one, see how carbonated it is. If you pop one open and it's not carbonated, I mean, you can drink it not carbonated. I just did, and it's very good without carbonation. But if you want that carbonation, 2 or 3 days, maybe 3 or 4, and you know, and then stick it in the fridge. It'll kind of slow down that carbonation process, and then you can drink them over time. So anyway, I am going to take a little break here before I brew up the new one. Okay guys, so I gave myself a rest, had to make some lunch for the kids, and had to eat and all that, and my kid is saying hi. I'll let you talk to him in a second, bud, okay? So now we're gonna brew some tea and start a new batch of kombucha. It's really simple, guys. Just a few things that you got to keep in mind. 1, make sure it's either very well filtered water. Any chlorine in it is going to kill all the bacteria, or chloramine. Now, some people say you can let your water sit out for 24 hours and it'll kill all the chloramine, but that's not true. There's still chloramine in, it'll kill all the chlorine. But now a lot of places are using something called chloramine, and that does not dissipate that way. Now, one thing you could do if you're using tap water only, and that's all you got, is use a Campton tablet or something like that, I think it's called. I read somewhere. Again, I'm not a professional here, guys, so sorry. I don't know everything, but there we go. I forgot to turn on the light. But from what I read, I think that you got to wait 24 hours before you use it, so it doesn't kill the yeast that you're trying to use. Elijah, can you turn it back on? Hi? Thanks, bud. One more. Press it once more. Thank you. That's good. Don't touch it anymore. Okay, my love? Okay? So, okay. Hold on, guys. Okay. So, I'm back. Yeah, anyway, so I've got this really good filter that I use, a Berkey filter. These aren't cheap, by the way, and you don't want to. This one will filter 99% of most everything out of there. I mean, it really does. You could filter pond scum, and it's good to drink. And okay, and my boy's getting some.
Hi.
Water. So he's determined to be in this video. So anyway, you want to use that or a good bottled water, spring water or something like that. So what you want to do is you want to take whatever vessel you're going to fill up. So I've got this, which is the same size as these gallon sizes right here, and I'm just going to fill this up with water so I know how much, and then add a little extra because it's going to dissipate, right? And the tea will soak some up and all that. So, but you're adding a cup of sugar, so maybe you don't have to. Last time I did, and I think I ended up with too much. I just drank the tea, but anyway. So we're just basically, it's simple. We're making tea, right? Again, you're gonna burn some of it off, so you really want to have it to here because it will bubble a little bit. So pour it in your pot. So you don't need organic sugar like this, but I find that this sugar has a little better flavor. White sugar works fine. We're gonna want to sanitize everything we're going to use to bottle this up. So I've got this, which sits just fine in these, and it also has a filter at the bottom, so that filters out all the tea. Now, I do it that way. I just dump the tea in, and then, you know, dump it out, filter it when I'm done. But another way, that's what I was doing, but I found that I have to cool it down first, so I decided that I'm not going to do it that route. I'm going to get a like a bag to drop in, and then I can pull that bag out. This is called a hop bag. It's for brewing beer, but it'll work for this. For sure will. It's pretty much the same idea. It's for dropping hops in. So right now, this doesn't need to be sanitized because you are going to boil it. So it'll be fully sanitized. We're going to go ahead and turn on the heat. So per gallon, if you look it up, you can always tailor this to your own liking, but general rule, at least what the internet says, and that's what I use, and it seemed to work, is 1 cup per gallon of kombucha. Since we're doing a gallon, it's 1 cup. If you're doing a half a gallon, it's a half a cup. All right, and that seems like a lot of sugar. Absolutely, it's a lot of sugar. I don't have that much sugar usually. In fact, I don't even like sweet tea. Like I only drink tea that's barely any sweetener in it at all. But for this, it needs the sugars. The yeast and stuff need the sugars to be able to eat, and then they produce the, you know, that tart flavor. Okay, so it's like acetic acid kind of that it produces, but I'm gonna go ahead and dump that in. And then I like to get exact here. You don't have to do this, you could just kind of wing it, but they say two to 3 tea bags, hold on, 8 bags of tea per gallon, they say, but they're talking about the tea bags, like Lipton tea bags. And so since I'm using loose leaf tea, I gotta do it a little bit different. So I gotta go off the ounces. So how much is in a tea bag? Here it says 2 to 3 grams. So I just go 2 grams times 8, that's 16 grams of tea. Okay. And then there's 16 grams of tea. Okay. Again, it doesn't have to be exact. Mine comes out with a really strong tea flavor, and it's mellow. This is good tea. This doesn't have any bitter taste to it. It is really good tea. By the way, all these things I will put links in the description section if you've never done this before. Again, I am not an expert, guys. This is not an expert thing, but it's working for me. I am no pro kombucha maker. But this is what I do from home, and it seems to work. So I have no problem with it. And it's definitely something you could probably do yourself easily this way. Don't blame me if anything goes wrong and you poison yourself, but the likelihood is very slim. At least that's what they say online. Everywhere, everyone talks about it. The likelihood of this turning out bad is really slim because the acidity to it is very high. In fact, if you're worried, you could get these, which tell your acidic level, and basically tells whether it's safe to drink or not. So I've got, let's do it really quick. All right, so it's lower than 4.6. All right. That's the higher end one. Let's see. Lower end one. So that's good. So that means it's good. It's right in between 3.6 and 3.2, I would say. Maybe a little bluish, but it's still, it's below 4 for sure. So that's pretty acidic. Nothing's going to grow in that. Nothing that is bad, at least. The good bacteria, for some reason, grow well in acidic things. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this in the pouch. Like that, gives it a little room to expand. Alright guys, so this is vigorously boiling. Seriously, this simple. Just drop it in. You could stir it around a little, whatever. Oh, that fogged up, didn't it? I'm still getting used to this filming thing with cooking, so not my normal. Fly tying, small little area I'm working on. My daughter in the background singing Grandpa Shark. I don't know if Mommy Shark, Daddy Shark, I don't know if you guys know that, but it's her favorite. Oh, I forgot a timer. It's okay, it's not 100% important. It's been a minute or so, so I'll do 4 minutes. Alright, so just every once in a while, give it a stir. Don't squeeze this, or you'll get some tannins in there and it'll taste a little bitter. Just kind of let it drain. Put on a pan or something that you don't mind, it's going to be hot. And then bring this up to a raging boil for like 5 minutes. That way we kill everything in there. Technically 10 would be better, but 5's fine. We've been boiling it for a while, so. Save this. If it's high quality tea like that, you could actually brew regular tea with it, or even another batch of kombucha probably with it. So, you know, try not to waste. That's my motto. I try not to as much as possible. But yeah, this basically, all that is reusable. So pull the tea out, make some tea, you know, with it, and or another batch of kombucha, and then save the bag, and then you can wash it, put it in the dishwasher or whatever, or washing machine, and wash it after you pull all the tea out. Back to this, actually, it's been a while since left you. There's a lot of screaming and fitting going on, so anyway, this is ready to stick in, so I wanted you guys to be able to see this part, so I waited. I put this in just to help keep, you can see the ice is melting. Alright, so I got the pot in with the water, and that ice had started to melt, so I'm just going to stick some cooler packs in there. Takes maybe 20-30 minutes for that to cool down, could be a little longer, but it works. Sometimes if it really hasn't cooled down and all the ice melts and I just am not getting luck with it cooling enough, then I stick it in the freezer. But we're going to test the temperature, or I'm not in the freezer, in the fridge, for a few minutes, and it'll come back down. But we're going to test the temperature in a little bit and get back to you. Still's got a lot of flavor in there. It's definitely usable. You might want to use a little more than you usually do with the normal cup of tea, but in this, guys, you just basically turn it inside out, rinse it over a sink. We've got a garbage disposal, so it's not going to clog the drain or anything, but otherwise just put like a net in there, rinse it out. Now, you're never going to get all the pieces out, but once you dry it, then they come out, the rest of them come out a little easier. There's still a few little pieces in there, but you know which one you use it for tea because it's dark, you can tell. So just basically hang it. I hang it by the oven, so whenever we cook, it's, you know, hotter there and helps. As I said, we'll make some tea with it. Here, let's bring you a little closer. You can see where things aren't in the way. You just want, I mean, this is a lot of tea I'm putting in for that, but I mean, it's going to waste anyway. We'll just make a really strong tea. Now what you could do is turn that into iced tea. All right, guys, so I actually decided to throw all of it in there. Barely fits in there, but it's gonna be a stronger tea, and that might be a little too strong, but then I can dilute it with water, and I'll put the rest in the fridge, what we don't drink right now, and it'll be iced tea. You can tell it's already got color, so this is, you know, it's not spent. That's the thing, is quality tea like that, I mean, I could probably do one more brew after this and it would still have flavor and caffeine and all the things you're looking for. So while I'm waiting for that to cool down, I'm gonna go ahead and put these where I want to put them for a couple days. You want them kind of dark. You want it rather cool. You don't want really hot, because really hot will stress out the bacteria and yeast that is in here and kind of give it some off flavor. So I've got this little spot in my house, and I've got a like a rack here. Keep all of our extra stuff. We don't have a lot of room. We don't have a pantry or anything, and we're just so used to having extra stuff and not going to the grocery store as often, but from where we lived in our house. But it's really dark back here, so but you can see there's a light that I've got I've got some cider here that I did. And then now I'm going to start putting the bottles of kombucha in there. All right, so guys, look at that. Good tea comes out of that. So I'm going to turn this into iced tea. This is glass also, so I can pour hot liquid in it. And then fill her up. And the easy way to sanitize is just basically pour the liquid in. And before I do that, give this spoon a good sanitizing. Actually, that's a 1 gallon thing, but either way. All right. And then just make sure that that sanitizer liquid touches every part of this jar. So, was going to put the top on, and then I just thought about it. It's not like beer, and it's not like cider. You want oxygen in there. You don't necessarily want only CO2, or it'll kill everything in there. Versus the yeast that you use for beer can handle the CO2, in fact does better. So I think maybe it might not be a good idea. So I don't want to do that because I might kill it all. I'll have to look that up. So I think this time I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stick this, I'm going to sanitize it, stick it on top to make sure nothing gets in there after it's sanitized. But yeah, I'm not gonna use this for the kombucha because of that. I think it's not good from what I remember reading. I'll have to read up a little bit more. Oh. Alrighty. Shoot, you know what? That is too much. I've got to pour some out because I got to put some of that, like 2 cups of the previous liquid in. So we have extra. So we've got some sweet tea that we can have now. Alright. So, now we're pretty much done. In fact, that's even a little too much. Hold on. I'm a little weirded out because the color of this, it's almost like black. It's never come out like that before for me, so I don't know if I did anything wrong. I did all the same stuff I'm used to. Anyway, you want to pour 2 cups of this liquid in. And I'm sure I did not leave myself 2 cups here. Alright. Now I want to leave some of the SCOBY in this one for the hotel thing. Just in case I did mess this up, then I don't have to go buy another SCOBY. It's good to, you know. So here's some, you just drop it in. It's really, really simple, guys.
SCOBY is grown a new one.
Oh, yeah. And then I'm going to pour a little bit of this, a little more. All right.
That's a SCOBY.
Uh-huh. There we go. And then give it a little hat. Make sure it's really not a super fine mesh. You want something a little thicker. This is a nut bag, actually. That worked for me last time. But that's it. Then just stick it in a spot that's dark and cool, which I'm gonna go do right now. I put it back in the dark spot, putting my extra, oh, that's heavy. All right, so there it is back there. It's dark. All right, and then I've got my extra one here. And this is some pear cider that I had left over from bottling that I'm leaving there. Letting it really get all the alcohol out of it, and I'm going to turn it into vinegar, pear cider vinegar. Okay, and that's that. Now, it did take me quite a while, partially because I was filming and partially because a couple things got messed up, and things will mess up on your end too. But will happen. But usually this can all be done. You can see it's not that difficult. It can usually be done in a short amount of time. And then also things like, you know, the cold water bath and all that to cool it down. Those are things that can, you know, be done. You can do other things, you know, and just wait for it. So it's not like, I would say constant work, maybe an hour of work, and then you've got better kombucha than you're ever going to get. So I like doing it. It's enjoyable also for me. So maybe you do too, but I know this is not my normal video, guys, and it's not even the normal quality of video that I make. I usually try to do very, very good, but this is all I got. So this is about the extent of what I can do right now. We're all stuck home during this quarantine thing, not able to do what we're used to doing. Many of us are working from home. I'm used to working from home, that's what I do. But many people, it's a new thing for them. You know, and for me, it's a new thing not having daycare. So I can't really do the kind of videos I used to do. So no apologies there. I love my kids, they're great kids. But it does make it a little more difficult for me to make videos. So sorry for the interruptions or the low quality of filming and the length of time this took. See, I'm used to doing voiceovers, so voiceovers make it a lot quicker. I can just film myself doing it. I don't have to talk like I'm doing right now.